The story of British rule in India begins not with a monarch but a company, the East India Company to be precise. The East India Company was established in the year 1600 during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. It was more than just a trading body, it was an entity that would shape the course of history. The initial purpose was simple enough: trade. With a royal charter that granted it the monopoly over English trade with the East Indies, the company set sail towards the opulent lands of the East in search of spices, silks, and other exotic goods. However, the East India Company's ambitions were not confined to trade. The turning point came in 1757 with the Battle of Plassey. This battle was more than a military conflict. It was a decisive moment that marked the beginning of British territorial rule in India. At the heart of this battle was a dispute over territorial and trading rights. The East India Company, under the command of Robert Clive, waged war against the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah. With a combination of strategic alliances and superior artillery, Clive managed to defeat the Nawab's forces despite being heavily outnumbered. The victory at Plassey had far-reaching consequences. It not only secured the company's trading rights but also set it on a path of territorial expansion. The company didn't just want to trade with India, it wanted to rule India. In the ensuing years, the East India Company would grow from a mercantile organization into a sovereign power, controlling vast swathes of the Indian subcontinent. This transformation didn't happen overnight, nor was it without resistance. But the Battle of Plassey, in many ways, laid the foundation for what was to come. It marked the beginning of a new era, an era of British dominance in the Indian subcontinent. Thus, a commercial enterprise morphed into a political power, heralding the dawn of 2 centuries of British rule in India. The 19th century marked the height of the British Raj, a period of direct rule that reshaped India. This era, rich in history and marked by significant changes, began following the Indian Rebellion of 1857. This insurrection, fueled by widespread discontent with the East India Company's rule, eventually led to the dissolution of the company and the transition of power to the British Crown. This shift brought about a new era, one that saw India under the direct control of Queen Victoria, who was declared the Empress of India in 1877. This symbolic gesture solidified Britain's control over the subcontinent, making it an integral part of the British Empire. The British Raj era was marked by significant changes, many of which still impact India today. One of the most significant transformations of this period was the introduction of railways. The first passenger train service began in 1853, running from Bombay to Thane. This revolutionary development was soon followed by the establishment of a vast network of railways, connecting the vast expanse of the Indian subcontinent like never before. In the same vein, the introduction of the telegraph revolutionized communication. No longer were messages subject to the vagaries of long-distance travel. Instead, news could be transmitted almost instantaneously, fostering a sense of connectedness across the vast regions of India. Education, too, underwent a massive overhaul. The British introduced English as the medium of instruction in schools, a move that aimed at creating a class of Indians, Indian in blood and colour, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect. This education reform not only changed the way Indians learned, but also paved the way for a new class of educated Indians who would later play a pivotal role in the struggle for independence. The British Raj left an indelible mark on India, transforming its landscape, economy, and society. While the Raj came with its share of challenges and controversies, its impact on the course of India's history is undeniable. The 20th century dawned with a growing clamour for independence, echoing across the subcontinent. In the heart of this struggle, 2 political powerhouses emerged: the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. Their rivalries and alliances would shape the course of India's fight for freedom. The Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, initially sought greater autonomy within the British framework. However, as the clamour for independence grew louder, their stance shifted towards complete self-rule. The Muslim League, established in 1906, initially shared similar aspirations, but with a focus on safeguarding the rights of the Muslim minority. The struggle for independence was marked by several key movements. The non-cooperation movement, initiated by Mahatma Gandhi in 1920, was a powerful demonstration of civil resistance. Instead of armed rebellion, Gandhi championed peaceful protests and boycotts of British goods and institutions. This movement, though it was suspended in 1922, laid the groundwork for future civil disobedience in India. Then came the civil disobedience movement of 1930. This was another Gandhi-led initiative, a direct response to the British Salt Act, which prohibited Indians from making or selling salt. This movement saw the historic Dandi March, where Gandhi and his followers walked 240 miles to the Arabian Sea to make their own salt, in defiance of the British law. In the 40s, the Quit India movement marked the final push for independence. Launched in 1942, it was a call to the British to leave India immediately. It saw widespread participation from diverse sections of the Indian society, reflecting a united front against colonial rule. The struggle for freedom, marked by both unity and division, was a testament to India's resilience and spirit. It was a fight not just for political independence, but also for self-determination and the right to shape their own destiny. The journey was long and arduous, but the relentless pursuit of freedom was a beacon of hope that illuminated the path towards a free India. The year 1947 marked the end of an era, as the British Raj gave way to two new nations. The path to independence was paved with a series of significant events and negotiations. Amongst the leaders who shaped the destiny of this region, the roles of Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah were paramount. Gandhi, with his philosophy of non-violence and civil disobedience, became the face of India's struggle for freedom. Nehru, with his vision for a modern India, stood firmly by his side. Across the border, Jinnah's insistent push for a separate Muslim state led to the creation of Pakistan. However, the joy of newfound independence was marred by the tragic partition. The division of British India into India and Pakistan led to unprecedented violence and mass displacement of people. It was a moment of triumph, yet a time of profound sorrow. The sun finally set on the British Empire in India, giving birth to a new dawn, albeit one tinged with the pain of partition. The British rule in India, spanning over 2 centuries, was a period of profound transformation. From the rise of the East India Company through the zenith of the British Raj to the arduous struggle for independence and the eventual end of British rule, each chapter of this saga has left indelible marks on the subcontinent. The echoes of this historical period continue to resonate in modern India, shaping its identity and destiny in myriad ways.